Hey there, film fans. I'm Jeff.
I'm Dave.
And I'm John, and welcome back to The Love of Cinema, a pod in which we'll challenge one another to discuss movies, both new and old, with a strictly positive critical eye.
Whenever we record two episodes back to back, we're so much looser for the second one. In our intro.
Looser.
I don't know what accent John's going with here, but that's right, people. We are a positive film criticism podcast. We are a drinking game.
Yeah.
Anytime we say something negative about a film or anything, because we're going to be talking about some other shit too. Anytime we say something negative here on this podcast, you're going to hear this sound. And that sound means that you need to take a drink. So we hope you take a glass and drink along with us.
So pour yourselves a glass, strap yourself to something fucking heavy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Dave.
Dave is ready to talk about Moonfall. His beer. How big is that?
Stand by as this drinking game possibly goes horribly fucking wrong.
How big is that
Strap
stein?
yourself to something heavy.
Yeah, this movie's going to test us for sure. How big is that stein that you just poured, Dave?
I don't know. I don't go here. It's
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
that.
I believe it's a
It's
liter.
bigger than my
It
face.
looks like a
Yeah.
liter. And that is a very heavy looking cloudy beer that you have. Okay, so we're going to be talking about Moonfall. Dave and I also have rants. We haven't told each other what our rants are about, but we're going to start with those. Then we're going to talk about Moonfall. For those of you who are new to our episode, if you have not seen this movie, which based on the box office receipts,
You haven't.
That's right. Moonfall is the movie with Sam from Game of Thrones that you've seen recently and gone, wait, he's still working?
Yeah.
And
Oh, come
Yeah.
on.
Moonfall is the movie you didn't see instead of Jackass. Basically.
yeah, Jackass came out this weekend, won the box office. Moonfall number 2, and then closely behind number 3 is Spider-Man in its 26th week of being out.
Let's just stop and think for that for a second. Moonfall, with a budget of $150 million, got beat by Jackass,
yeah.
who has already made its budget back just off this weekend.
Actually, I believe Jackass more than doubled it. But now Moonfall can get the international appeal. It's directed by Roland Emmerich, who you might know from the Independence Days, The Patriots, and a bunch of other disaster shit. Okay, but so
Oh wait, you literally meant that. Sorry.
wait.
You didn't mean the movies.
He makes disaster movies. The Day After Tomorrow, 2012. Anyway, so we're trying to stay spoiler free. We're failing so far, but we're trying to stay spoiler free for like 10 minutes so you could get our initial takeaways to wonder if the movie's worth seeing, if you should go out and see this movie with your hard-earned cash in your pocket, or if you should see something else. So stick around for at least 10 minutes. Might be a little longer today because of our rants. But before we get into that, our buddy John Say is back in his home studio, people, in Los Angeles,
Thank
the
you.
city of
Thank you very
love,
much.
right there. He is back with us after a few
City
weeks
of
off,
love.
where he found himself in college. John, how did that go?
Went well. I'm busy as fuck producing movies here. But yeah, it went
living
great.
large like Rodney Dangerfield.
Oh, my.
There's an old movie reference for you.
Yeah.
Everyone who's
so-
over 40 and listening to this is going to love that one.
Drink
John-
your leader.
John, before Dave and I get in our rants and then we talk about Moonfall, can you go ahead and shout our people out really quick?
Our people. One of our people's name is Carlos Barroso, and that man makes beer, and sometimes he gives us that beer. His handle on Instagram is cbarroso, or
You're not getting
beer.
any of it in Los Angeles.
no.
That is a
I'm
promise.
not getting any of it. Give him a follow over there on the Instagram, CBARROZOBAR.BEER. And if you like the music, it's provided by the artist Dasein. That's Dasein, Dasein. Head on over to soundcloud.com/Dasein-artist, and you can download all the music for free. So why haven't you done it yet? Go fuck yourself. Let's talk about Moonfall.
Jesus.
We're
I'm
gonna-
so excited. Here, let me set it up with this because this is kind of endearing.
Yeah,
we still have our rants, and neither of our rants are about Moonfall. So it's something.
So
to think
I
about.
have a positive thing to say. I have two positive things to say before you guys rant about something. Last week, when we were talking about doing this movie, I do live in this city. I live really close to the Dolby Theater and stuff. I drove past the premiere of Moonfall. So that
There
was
were
cool.
actually people at it.
There were some people at it. Yes, there were some people at it. And then when I saw it yesterday at the IMAX theater at the Universal City Walk, didn't realize it at the time. It was
Love
not
City
a
Walk.
full IMAX theater, but I would say there was about a third of it full. It was a very large IMAX. It was probably about a third full. And at the end of it, the crowd was applauding quite a bit because I'm pretty sure half the crew of Moonfall was in. I know the producers were there, a couple of the writers, a couple of the soundies. A lot of people were there. Everyone was cheering for each other. They all talked to each other afterwards. So it made it kind of special that at the end of it, I felt it was like they all just came to see it because they all just came to watch their movie together.
They didn't get invited to the premiere.
Pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, I mean, that happens. Hey, look.
Yeah.
If you're working below the line.
Yeah. And but like I want to say, those guys for anything that may happen during this episode, they deserve a round of applause because they did a phenomenal job on the visual effects, the production of this movie, getting this movie done. Like
they said, we need the moon to be over Denver, Colorado 6 times within a 12-hour window, and we need you to figure that out. And they fucking did.
Look, I know where we're going. I know where we're going to go. This is a ridiculous disaster movie.
I digress.
And it was just fun to remember that like those people worked for like 2 years so that we can drink beer and talk about it on this podcast. And people can stuff their face with popcorn.
And those
so
people,
I had fun, but I can't wait to hear
the
the
effects
rants.
were great.
Fantastic.
The effects were great.
The effects were great.
Who should go first? Dave, right? I don't know. So Dave's something about...
Dave should go first because his isn't even about the movie.
No,
Dave, kick it off.
Mine is not about the movie either.
I was in a bad mood before I even walked into this thing because I turned up to AMC. I went to a 1 p.m. screening and I turned up to AMC and they had... I'm like, fuck it. It's a big movie. I'm going to get some popcorn. So I walked in. There's like 2 people in the line and I've got the A-list thing and I'm like, I'm not going to jump in front of these 2 people. I'm not going to be that asshole. So I went and stood behind them in the normal line. The guy serving, they had one guy on the confectionery counter at 1 p.m. on a Saturday, I might add, took so long to get his shit together that then suddenly there were 5 people in line in the A-list who decided they were going to fuck those people over. So I'm standing there for like 20 minutes while this one poor bastard tries to like serve all these people and he's like alternating and pissing people off in the A-list line and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like I finally get to the point where I walk up to the counter, suddenly 5 people come out and start serving everyone. And I'm like, what the fuck? Where were you guys like 20 minutes ago? Why are they not staffing?
Why are they
not staffing?
One AMC member was very high and gave Dave... that guy ruined Dave's Saturday.
I'm buzzing John. That's a John buzz there.
Oh, that's exactly what they have.
Jeff, what do you got?
Oh, real fast. Hold on, wait. You said you have A-list. I'm sorry, we have to call it out. Guys, have you heard... Movie Pass is relaunching. Have you heard?
Yeah, I heard that.
Have you heard?
Yeah. Let's see how that goes.
Oh my God, I don't think it's going to get down to the ridiculousness, but even if it remotely exists, I will also be an A-list member and a Movie Pass member because I can't wait to go see movies for a reasonable price at all these wonderful, independent theaters around the country. Like, good God.
Oh yeah, because they cover indies.
So excited.
Yeah.
Movie Pass.
That was cool that Movie Pass is at like Angelica and stuff. That was cool. My rant has nothing to do with this. My rant has to do with episodes 5 and 6 of the Book of Boba Fett.
Get in there.
Okay, so here we go. This all starts.
Yeah, I'm glad you did it, Dave. I thought you were going to be all ears. I'm glad I didn't have to
fuck with the Fett.
Okay, this all starts, I don't know, like 12 years ago or whatever, when Disney decides to give George Lucas $4 billion in cash to buy the Disney properties.
He needed it.
He needed it. You know why he needed it, John? He needed it to beef up his USC film school contributions.
I was going to say, he built us a very nice building in 2009.
He built you a nice building, but you know what he didn't do is he didn't give everybody free tuition. My man John still pays full price at USC. George,
thank you.
Come on.
You could
easily kick NYU's ass, George. You could kick them. Everybody gets free tuition at USC. USC is the #1 film school in the world. No question, just like that. You're fucking lucky John got waitlisted at NYU. You are not the hero of this story, George. Okay.
Oh my God.
So we all knew that
yeah, gushing. Oh man.
Why are you gushing me? Okay, so we all knew that they were going to do the spin-offs and they were going to do other movies apart from 7, 8, 9. Mm-hmm. And we knew right away that there were 2 obvious choices. 2, not Solo, because people were skeptical that they would fuck it up. Dave doesn't think so. Everybody else did. I don't know what to tell you about that.
That perception is changing.
Sure. The Obi-Wan origin story is going to be great, but we didn't know about Disney Plus. We didn't know about this kind of shit. The first one was obvious. Jeez, a lot of Rogue One people died to get you this information. Rogue One, boom, the best Star Wars movie since 1983. Obvious first choice. And number 2,
he's right.
Number 2 was Boba Fett A person who everybody wanted to be in all of the video games, who books, armor, people for Halloween, who didn't even fucking talk in the movies. This person who is a bounty hunter in this story where everything is about good versus evil, rebels, empire, and he just breaks the mold. He could work with Darth Vader. He could work with Jabba the Hutt. He can bounce around. Just did a plane just go by somebody's apartment? He just completely breaks the mold. He is, as my brother said recently, an enigma. He's whatever we want him to be. He's so fucking badass. Every person playing a Star Wars video game wants to be Boba Fett. He was so fucking cool. Slight problem emerges where the Mandalorian comes along, and the Mandalorian is the Boba Fett origin story. Doesn't take off his mask. How does he poop? How does he eat? How does he sleep? Doesn't matter. He's Mando. And it's like, wait, that's what he just collects bounties and goes around the galaxy and does whatever the fuck he wants. Shit, that's what Boba Fett was supposed to be. I got an idea. What if he's bald, fucks up the spice trade in the desert, and takes mud baths to live? Oh, wait, no, that's the villain from Dune. Fuck. Well, too late now. That's what Boba Fett's gonna be because of season 2 of The Mandalorian. Which, by the way, Mandalorian was awesome, amazing. Nobody has any complaints. Baby Yoda is the most marketable television character of all fucking time. I work in a school with 5-year-olds in kindergarten who should not be watching this because a lot of creatures that look like people die in every single episode. And I see Baby Yoda dolls, backpacks, water bottles, hats, shirts, jackets, scarves. Fucking Baby Yoda's everywhere in this fucking school. What a marketable creature. And then season 2 of The Mandalorian, you get Luke with the de-aging makeup. It is fan service done as well as anybody's ever done fan service before. It's so fucking cool. I actually forgot that Boba Fett was in season 2 of The Mandalorian as an old man. Okay, fine. So now we're doing this again. We're doing the Boba Fett story because they said, you know what? Mandalorian season 3, we need a year off. And everybody went, take your time. Season 2 is so fucking great. Take your time, come up with the right story. And you know what they do? They take the story from Mandalorian season 2 and they just put it in the Boba Fett storyline because all Boba Fett is doing is choosing a life of non-violence. Nobody playing those video games of playing as Boba Fett, like fucking shooting people all over the fucking galaxy, is sitting there going, wait, what if Boba Fett was a Buddhist? No, that's not why we picked Boba Fett. You know what? I care so little about the Boba Fett storyline right now. I skipped the 4th episode of this series. I went right to 5 and 6, and I'm not going to go back because I saw that episode 4 was 50 minutes long.
You sound like you care very little. You sound like someone.
So let me give you the IMDb rankings. Episode 1 of Boba Fett 7.4. Episode 2 8.3. Holy shit! The Tribes of Tatooine 8.3. Episode 3 6.4. That's like Emily in Paris bullshit. 7.6 episode 4. And then guess what? 5 Mandalorian Returns. 6 Luke and Baby Yoda practice meditation on a planet far, far away. 9.4, 9.5. So clearly this is all the people really gave a shit about. Boba Fett is now just a surrogate for more interesting characters than Boba Fett, who is supposed to be the most interesting fucking character in the world. He's not even the first or second or third most interesting character on his own fucking show. Bring in the lady from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. who has a connection to Mandalorian. She's cooler. And guess what? We got Timothy Oliphant, who was in The Mandalorian as a backstory. He's now cooler and more interesting and way more attractive than Mando. And wait a second, at the end, they finally accepted that this is a fucking Western. We get Clint Eastwood with red eyes. It is so obviously Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood's estate had their hand on the phone and they said, wait, did we give them permission for this?
It's one of the most important characters of Clone Wars.
6 more interesting characters than fucking Boba Fett in his own storyline. In his own storyline. So I know everybody loves Boba Fett. We love Baby Yoda. We love Luke. We love all the shit that's going on. I feel like they fucked up the Boba Fett storyline, and I feel like season 2 should be him going to find Emily in Paris and giving her dating advice. I feel
like I've said this before, and you need a drink. That was epic. But like, it's the same with Solo. They took a character who had minimal screen time. Boba Fett had like fucking 4 or 5 minutes of screen time in the entire Star Wars trilogy.
Like, I already covered this. Yeah. We loved him because we wanted to see a bounty hunter, and they gave that job to Mando, and now we just I'll tell you what, Boba Fett.
If the episodes
we did what we do with everything else.
If the episodes after this utilize both like
there's one episode after this.
Yeah, but if it all comes to a head, you're gonna eat those fucking words.
is we have
So hold on a
one more
second.
episode.
This all
and
took
also,
place in-
also, you know what I'm looking forward to in the next episode is Baby Yoda going to choose to go back to Mando, which he is, or to leave Luke? Because by the way, Luke's Jedi temple looks like shit. He has slave labor droids over here just stacking stones. I don't see any Tyvek. We have cities that float in the sky, and he's putting a bit like a stone wall together, and he's like, "You could be part of my school." If I'm Baby Yoda, he's like, "I had it better with Mando." Like, of course he's gonna go back there.
All right.
Fuck,
Okay.
man.
Let's okay. So for Jeff's brother, it's skip.
That was from a different episode. That's the inside joke from the last episode.
I'll cut it. Don't worry.
Anyway, that's my rants. Sorry we haven't talked about Moonfall yet, and I know everybody loves the show because we got a 9.5 out of the last episode. I just feel bad for Boba Fett because the character was cooler 20 years ago than he is today.
So Boba Fett is on Mandalorian right now? Is that
No,
what
it's the
you're
other way
saying?
around. Mandalorian's hijacked his show.
Totally
Oh,
hijacked.
Boba Fett has his own show.
Yes.
See, this is what I'm talking
my
about.
God.
People,
Okay,
for
yeah, you're
this
getting that
rant,
one.
for the show that I'm watching, I was googling the episode list
Jeff,
and
can
I
you-
typed in.
can you just say all that again? I
Mandalorian.
didn't quite-
John is
I didn't quite follow
John's
it.
actually a 55-year-old man.
All right, I'm so sorry. And Dave, yes, I know that character is really, really cool and looks just like Clint Eastwood with red eyes, but I can't wait to find out what happens to him. And I wonder if Stellan Skarsgård from Dude fucks up the spice trade in the desert on a random planet. Shit, no, that's Boba Fett. Fuck. Sorry, damn it.
I'm just hitting you again. All right. The movie we're here to talk about.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Now that we're like 20 minutes into the episode.
What are we talking about?
Moonfall. We're talking about Moonfall.
Moonfall, people. This is Moonfall.
I
This
can
is
understand you
Roland-
forgetting.
This is This is Roland Emmerich. This is Roland Emmerich. This
Oh my God.
stars
This is not going to go well.
an almost unrecognizable Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Bradley,
Everyone you love.
Michael Peña. Fuck yeah, Michael Peña. I always love seeing Michael Peña make an appearance. And here's what the brief plot description that I found on IMDb is. A mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a...
I got your force.
Just all of us.
Fuck, it just shot out into my eye. My beer just... I'm drinking this...
It's the bubble.
This
Boot
beer
bubbles.
boot. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm drinking a beer boot and it's hard to drink. Okay, thanks, Matt and Mark. A mysterious force knocks the moon from its orbit around Earth and sends it hurtling on a collision course with life as we know it. Moonfall. Who would like to take it away with your initial spoiler?
Can I say something up front?
Yeah.
I love these films. Like
Me too,
the mainly to see how far destruction VFX has progressed, but like
Sure.
wiping out humanity is kind of a hobby, and like it is so much fun to see where they're going to go with each one. Like I'm all about Day After Tomorrow, 2012. Like God, I quote them all the time. So yeah, it was like we got a new one coming out. I was pumped.
Yeah. Also, it's the first movie that came out this year that anybody was pumped for.
Yeah.
All right, that's not
One
much of
month
a
into the
review.
year.
Yeah. I mean, with February, I didn't see a single movie in theaters in January. Now, I had COVID for half of it, but still.
Well, there was nothing pretty much.
So, Dave, you didn't really give us your take,
Okay,
but
like,
should we circle back to that?
I just want to also point out, like, just quickly jumping ahead, when they go to the meeting with all the conspiracy theorist guys, there was a dude in there that looked exactly like Steve Wozniak. Was it just me?
When they go to the...
In the hotel.
Wait. A guy that looked like Woz?
He looked like Woz.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I don't know. That was just I wrote Woz? Like, question mark, question mark. Like, yeah.
Definitely
but
a bunch of Trump votes
I
in
just
that
want to
room.
say, like, for me, it was... I kind of went. I went and saw this with very, very high expectations because, let's face it, I loved all of them, and we're talking about the moon crashing into the Earth, possibly, potentially.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
open, like, the opening disaster is a tidal wave that hits through LA, like, and that's not really a spoiler because you know a tidal wave's coming somewhere. It sets a very high expectation for the rest of the film,
Yeah.
and it just didn't get there.
That's a very kind review, Dave. You're right.
It did not get there. This did nothing new, despite the moon potentially smashing into the Earth. Like the stakes even felt lower.
Yeah, and when you say that, you mean like dramaturgically, it just didn't. It didn't present.
Dramaturgically, from a physics standpoint, we'll get to that later. I have notes that get progressively more orange and red as I get angrier.
Are we really going to pull at that thread?
I have a game that I want to play too, by the way. But we'll see if we get there.
Dude,
it's a Roland Emmerich
To
game.
be honest, like you have a certain suspension of disbelief when you go into these. This one, like the suspension of disbelief for this one would require a fucking gravity well, to be honest.
I know. It really has. So in my
nothing adds up.
I still had fun. But I will also say that the more these kinds of movies get made, with what you said initially, which I think you said as a positive, to watch like destruction VFX, it's kind of like the Pandora's box, too much of a good thing, flying too close to the sun. There's
only so far you can go.
The more technology we have doesn't mean it makes it better. So do you guys remember when I watched
don't get me
Independence
wrong, the
Day
VFX in
over
this are
2020?
solid, but
well, they're solid.
Except for that one shot.
We have to start asking. We have to start asking what that.
But yeah,
but we have to start asking what that means in context of story and everything else. Like, do you remember when I saw Independence Day and I couldn't stop talking about how I watched like the making of and how all of it was miniatures and practicals. He really did the fireballs and it was just so effective. And in between those awesome effect shots that were done practically. I know, right? In between those shots, you had what I would say is a different style of grounded acting, still delivering very crazy lines about these ridiculous disaster circumstances, aliens in the sky and motherships and stuff. It's still crazy, but it's grounded in something a little bit different. Even the aesthetic and the tone has shifted. It's gone more and more in this direction. So you're right, Dave. I think to continue having fun with Roland Emmerich's films, your imagination cap has to get larger and larger and larger. You need to be
more progressively stoned as you see this.
Well, you have to just be ready to. I mean, you just have to be ready for it to be more and more outlandish.
This movie, we would have laughed our asses.
I laughed a bunch. I wasn't stoned at all, and there was like every time they were like saying.
I just want to say, me and someone else in my theater were having a great time occasionally with some of the lines they dropped, but we were the only two.
It's ridiculous. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, there is no realism in here at all. Where I would say that even one of his first films, like Stargate, I love that movie.
Oh my god, yeah, nothing can compete with that.
There's still an aspect of reality into the way the characters live, breathe, move, talk.
Stargate,
and it doesn't
bred
really
one of the most
exist in
successful,
these more recent ones.
It bred one of the most successful TV series ever,
which he also made.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's I don't know. I think this is just the VFX thing.
It's almost
they
like
keep
he
saying,
phoned
let's
this
see
one
what
in.
we can do. Well, I mean, I also it brings up an interesting conversation, and I want us to get there eventually. I want to hear Jeff's take too, but I guess that's the last thing I wanted to say. When you see someone, from me? I do. When you see someone who you were just talking about the Lucas trap, what Disney and the Lucas found, what they are doing to their IP. When you see someone like Roland Emmerich, who is clearly very, very, very skilled at telling a specific kind of structure in a disaster genre, and he's gotten so good at doing it that you have to just ask, after so many films, Dave, you're arguing nothing new happened, nothing was introduced, nothing changed in the structure. So you kind of felt like you were watching not just a similar style movie, but also within his.
But when I say nothing new happened, it was like the stakes didn't get higher. The stakes felt lower than the last one I saw.
Which is crazy, though, because if you were to step away and look at these things on a board, of course the stakes got higher. So what was happening where you felt like a tidal wave was the first thing you saw, and then the moon was crashing into Earth over and over and over again, and the stakes didn't get higher? What I'm excited to hear you unpack that, because I think everyone is struggling with that. And I think if you don't just they grin and bear it and get even happier.
Like, everything else was kind of like almost realistic. Like, even the tidal waves in like 2012, all that sort of stuff, all of that stuff, like that was based loosely on science, I would say, but like it was based on science. This like, I'm going to pick apart some fucking science a little bit later. I did some math. It pissed me off so much I did math.
Dave,
are you
TI-89
saying
to the theater?
Dave, are you saying that you are not a megastructurist? Is that what you're saying?
No, megastructures are all, I'm on board with the megastructure. What I'm not on board is with a moon sweeping through Manhattan, destroying buildings when the
Hits the building.
when the
wait.
wait. But the diameter of the moon is 2,159 miles.
Miles.
The length of Manhattan is 13.4 miles. Okay, there's a little fucking scale issue happening right here.
Can you imagine? We've all learned like the sky's right there, but it's also like, what is it? How many miles until you get to space? That's a lot, right? Because the atmosphere's really thick.
That I didn't work out.
It scrapes a building. The moon scraped a building. What the hell? So, John, you said something before. It's not realistic. They wanted it to be realistic. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given us so much character exposition. So I'm going to back off a little bit because I'm with you, and I like Independence Day, and Independence Day 2 is one of the worst movies I ever saw. But it was so fun watching it with you. We laughed so much, even though it was horrible.
I'm going to drink for what I said too.
It was so, oh my God, guys. It was, oh man. Gosh, good thing we saw it together. If I saw it by myself, that would have been tough. But this, like, there's
The portrait of Will Smith. I still dream about that.
where he's like, we didn't get him, people. We didn't get him, but we own his likeness.
Yeah.
They might as well have like shouted out to us in the theater, like,
He emailed
we
us
own his likeness
He
for
emailed
this
us
film.
a picture and we composited it in. So yeah, we're good.
We know he dodged a bullet. And okay, I just wish they put up on a map because the ideas were interesting. I actually, there's two things that I wish. Number one, I wish they chose moon or megastructure, one or the other. Obviously, they chose megastructure.
I did like the fact
moon.
that by the end of it, you could see the structure. Like the moon broke apart and you could see the structure. Like
Me too.
Should we turn
to
the
that
spoiler?
point,
Okay, we're in spoiler territory here. Like,
yeah, you know my take. You know my take, people. Get out of here.
Let's,
Spoilers.
let's turn the spoiler alert on and everybody. No, let's just turn the spoiler alert on.
Spoilers.
Everybody take a couple shots or smoke a giant joint and go watch this movie.
Yeah,
and I
for
bet
sure.
you'll-
And
I
watch it
bet
with a
you'll
friend.
enjoy our
Watch it with a
conversation.
Go with your friends, for fuck's
Watch
sake.
with a friend.
Yeah.
It'd be really
Do
fun to
not
watch
go
with a
and
friend.
see this
Nobody's at the
alone.
theater. Nobody's at the theater, so you can talk to each other during the movie. Just go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're in spoiler
Even if you're that
territory.
guy who likes to go and masturbate in the theater, just take some friends, for fuck's sake. Like,
Jesus.
By the way, we don't condone that. It was just sort of like that.
Damn it,
Okay,
Jeff.
this episode's getting messy.
So, if you're gonna do the megastructure, which is it's wild, I think really just like the moon is out of orbit and it's crashing towards Earth for no reason, and then they're trying to figure out why is a good enough thing. But if they want to do the megastructure thing, do I really need like a bunch of people in Colorado running around in the snow? I mean, all of LA died, and I'm sitting here and being like, this kid's lonely. So it's like, I feel like there's not enough time for the megastructure. All of a sudden, a custodian is an astronaut. It's like, it was like literally like Fast 9, where they're flying a car in space.
God,
and
dude,
it's like,
I made the same comparison, except Fast and Furious did it better.
Fast and Furious did it better. Yes, exactly. We're buzzing each other because it's technically made to this movie, but
It's all about family.
Fast and Furious did it better, and they
gave
drove a
you
car into
something that
space.
set the stakes. Like,
Guys,
that was a masterstroke on their part.
Because there were only 2 NASA scientists left and a custodian. I likened it to this. There are a lot of people who are really good at basketball in high school and played all the time when they were adults. But that doesn't mean they can just step into an NBA game and be stars.
Okay, I'm gonna also
Samuel Tarly all of a sudden is training NASA engineers on how to be astronauts, and then he becomes an astronaut.
Wait,
Which, you know what? I know these movies are silly. And like we're putting way too much thought into this. But then when you have characters come in and be like, "Dad, you always hated NASA," and it's like, okay, they do want us to care about the characters. You know, if the characters are just surrogates to get us into space, then they should just shut the fuck up and gotten up there.
The point you made, it only takes 2 guys to launch a rocket, apparently. What the fuck were all those guys doing Apollo 13 for?
I saw that's what I was, yeah, exactly. That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, man. You said it better than me. That was perfect, Dave. Exactly right. No, I really don't want to hate this movie because there is so much fun to be had. Like, if you forget about most of the stuff in this movie.
That. This movie is going to cause NASA to be defunded because some fucking idiot's going to see it and go, "Oh, it only takes 2 people to launch a rocket."
These guys literally,
It's irresponsible to release that sort of thing with politicians these days. I'm sorry.
They actually said we need to get in that rocket and go to outer space in the next 20 minutes, and they went okay, and then they left. There was nobody in the building to launch them. They launched themselves. I know it's.
Let's
I know
not
this
even
is
talk about how long it takes
crazy,
to put on
but-
a fucking spacesuit. But okay, my first note here, like let's go to the launch. They're launching the rocket.
That launch sequence.
There's a fucking
was
gravity wave
hilarious and
coming
awesome,
with a
dude.
tidal wave.
Yeah.
A
That wave
gravity wave.
That wave
Physics
destroyed
does not
them.
work like this.
No, but it goes up in the air. Do you know everything
dude,
goes straight
fuck
up
off.
and down
A
when
rocket,
the moon's right above
a
you?
rocket engulfed by a water-filled gravity wave goes more than 7 degrees off course. Fuck you. And possibly explodes. I don't know about that last part. I have to run some tests. But I'm pretty sure it's going to fucking explode.
Yeah, I don't know much about math, but I think if you go 7 degrees off course, yeah.
If you go 7 degrees off course because the fucking ocean hit you, you're lucky.
And then it just self-corrected. Like at least at Apollo 13 when they had like the wavy like burn and they ended up still going in the right direction. Like, you know, it was like movie magic, but they did it.
I'm going to drink
With
because no one
this,
buzzed
they
me.
were
but-
like, hey, we're 7 degrees off course. And then all of a sudden they were just going right after it. Like as if it's that easy. Like as if there's a large landing window.
You're 7 degrees off course. You were fucking underwater a minute ago.
I really don't want to shit on this movie. John, save us.
Go, John. John, I got more, so come back to me.
John, save us.
Honestly, you said Fast 9. I think you have to just look, Dave. You said you went into this movie with very high expectations.
I did.
Why?
Because of
You know what I mean?
Independence Day.
Who paid them? Somebody gave them the money for these people that you saw the movie with to get paid 2 years, but they all got paid $150 million. They got paid.
Yeah.
Look, they got paid. I mean, there's no
100
doubt. This is the kind of movie that.
Pretty sure at least 80 million. That was the effects budget, but
Yeah, it should have been. The effects
they
were
did a
good,
great
ridiculous.
job. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Sorry,
like,
John, what?
go, John.
Dave, we gotta let
No,
John
I
talk.
got more. I got more.
No, I think you just have to. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying like I took it seriously. I think the further that he gets in his career, the less serious he wants you to take him. I think he is consciously leaning into. It's not supposed to be realistic anymore. Like again, we can laugh about Will Smith punching an alien in the face, but a lot of that movie was presented in reality. That's
You
what
think
was
when
so crazy about it.
They were getting the son out of jail and helicoptering him across the country to go to NASA to see his dad go to space. And you're saying that they didn't want us, they
Yeah.
wanted it to be a.
You think Dennis Quaid's not sitting there going, "What the fuck? I had to walk across snow for mine."
I don't know.
But
I
even
think they
that
wanted us
one-
to care about the characters too much. I think they should have cared less. I think they should have cared less about the characters. I think they should have gotten more Mars attacks with the characters.
I mean, to be honest, yes. I mean, when you get to
For sure that. Well, I mean, for me, it's always going to start there. Like the special effects, like it's whatever. But if you don't really care about these people in these scenarios, and if they don't follow the rules they say they're going to set up about their relationships and their relationships to what they
monologue on that.
do, their math, their science, their technological skills, their whatever, their astronauting skills. I don't know. I mean, it's just so easy to draw parallels. Why do you buy Jeff Goldblum as the Samuel Tarly character in that one? We could deconstruct it, but like just in general, there's a grittiness. There's I know I'm using that word very maybe a little too liberally for that kind of movie. I'm not saying it's Dog Day Afternoon, but compared to the style
That's
of
a
acting, the
throwback.
style of storytelling was not even grounded. So in the same way, I don't even think he wanted you to feel grounded. Honestly, it felt like a Michael Bay tone. It felt like it was never supposed to be taken seriously, which, I'm not I don't personally prefer that. I would feel the suspense of even a sequence like the launch. I'm going to feel the suspense and the thrills much more if I really do think that if the character's life is at stake or the world, but it's hard to get a grip on the world and emotionally. You can get a grip on a character and their family, the people they're fighting for, just like in all of his other successful films. So I think that's the only thing about this one that was a little frustrating was that.
Michael,
Well, how about the
Michael Peña?
Yeah, go for it.
I had some Armageddon comparisons, obviously, too.
Michael
Sorry,
Peña
Dante.
sacrificing himself for his
Left, right.
like was stupid for several reasons. It was fruitless, it was pointless, and it was cheapened by the air. No, it was cheapened by the air literally coming back 2 seconds after he dies.
It's like the grandmother throwing the child in Dante's Peak, right? She throws the kid, It's like the man in Volcano throwing the guy. It's that moment where you're just like, they were like 5 feet away. If only they had done it. I don't know. That
It's
kind of moment
Jack and
exists
Rose
in
at
all
the end of
disaster
Titanic,
movies.
where they both could have fit on the.
Oh yeah, there's
But you're right. So it really just but there are ingredients. There are archetypal ingredients to these kinds of stories. That why do some work better than others? I think it's because even though Michael Peña was working his ass off to try to show you that he loved his children,
I loved his performance. His performance.
I thought he was good too.
I thought his death was wasted.
I think the way that they set it up. I think the way they set it up was all they had to do for me.
Negative about the film. Sorry, go on, John.
Oh, really?
All they had to do for me. All they had to do for me for that was give me one kernel at the beginning of that sequence with the oxygen that one of the tanks is low, and we would have been fine. All we needed was a little nod to I hope they make it. And then when he knows that, we know that, and we're going to make the decision with him. But it kind of came out of nowhere, and then it was melodramatic with the left, right.
Yeah, and it was just like that was kind of a waste for me. Speaking of colonels, the military story, the whole military side of that felt tacked on to me. And it felt like it was really only there to give them a ticking clock.
Guys,
it was spread.
Guys,
the movie was spread.
Why did Patrick Wilson's son have that accent? Where did that come from?
God, I didn't even notice that. I was so distracted by this other bullshit.
There were so many things like that that really got in the way for it, right?
Like, but what was it?
Was it supposed to be LA? I wasn't sure. But Dave, you're right. I do think that unfortunately, again, let's go back to his best. Let's go back to Stargate. Let's go back to Independence Day. There is a core group of characters that seem to find themselves consistently being drawn back to each other, to rely on each other, to work together. They all don't really want to be there, and they don't really get along otherwise. And it somehow ends up yielding the side plots versus this one. He did it twice. There were two ex-wife, ex-husband scenarios. Yeah. Where they were just always on the other side of a phone call or a FaceTime or some communication. So they never really felt like they were living in it the same way. That's all they were. Right? Which was a shame because I really liked that actor who played Halle Berry's ex-husband. Yeah. He really had that smoldering, that really intense smoldering thing going on.
He always had
business.
I can see he never just stood still. He was always like walking around, like adjusting something.
And I just felt like there was
Okay, so we're going to get to the final point because in the spoiler territory, it turns out that the moon is a superstructure built by the original human race, which seeded the Earth. Yeah, a mega structure. Yeah, bastards. Because we can't do super, we'll do mega. But yes, but then they broke their own rules. So
First time.
The AI wiped out the whole civilization, encased in technology or not. That whole civilization was wiped out. But now it stops if you break your iPhone.
It can't find you. Yeah. I guess it's only
you can break the detonator, but the detonator still works.
Like if you break your iPhone,
yeah, that's a good one too.
If you break your iPhone, this thing stops. I've accidentally prevented humanity being wiped out 3 times, once involving a toilet.
Like, I know.
Did you know that Roland Emmerich is German?
Yeah.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah. Here's an idea.
He'd appreciate this.
I thought it was not really a missed opportunity because they would have had to have changed everything, but the way they very casually acknowledged that whatever this alien being was a singularity. We eventually realized it was nanobites. Maybe not literally a singularity, but they had reached some metamorphosis, some kind of level of evolution that could be categorized as a singularity. And that wasn't the movie. I thought that was it was interesting to me that we eventually got to the explanation. Yeah, and it was like, wow, we just got this huge explanation.
Felt tacked on. That was my problem.
Yeah. So what's the antidote? I'm still gonna try to praise it just because I think the antidote for movies like this is honestly, Dave. Before I say this, don't get upset. I think Marvel has proved itself to realize time and time again their most successful films are their most successful attempts at having people care about the characters, the heroes. If you don't care about them, it doesn't really matter. But I think there are a lot of people out there in the world, a lot of moviegoers and people who don't really take chances on them, that do find it harder and harder to put that giant cap of imagination on for number 36 of some superhero movie. So I think that this is a similar case where if you're going to go see these disaster movies, unfortunately,
For about $1
we're
billion
being asked
worth of
time and
moviegoers, I might
time and
argue
time
with you.
again. I know, but we're being asked time and
Yeah.
time again to grow even more with them, to where we're flying with Ludacris and Tyree in space, and we're like, how did
don't
we
know
get
why
here?
that was. I don't know why that was more sellable than this.
Because that was the 9th time.
Did you
we
hear what
saw
I just
them.
said?
It's
It's
so hard
Ludacris
to-
and Tyrese in space.
Yeah, that's right. It's the 9th time we saw them. That's why. This is the first time we've seen these characters. Patrick Wilson, we haven't seen him in a major motion picture not be somebody who is a psych, somebody who has mystic powers. So it's like we need full backstories, and they need to give Patrick Wilson his three-dimensional storyline, and Halle Berry her three-dimensional storyline, and Samuel Tarly John Bradley his three-dimensional storyline.
I'll give them credit.
And then the kids have to have their own storyline. Why did they get out of the car while they're watching the shit
They
blow up? And they're like, we
almost
should get
got
back
there.
to the car, and it's like no shit. So it's this is like they just tried to get too many characters going on
I feel
because the
like-
point of the movie wasn't the characters. That's the problem. The point
Yeah.
of Iron Man is Iron Man. The point of Spider-Man is Spider-Man. The point of Batman is Batman. The point of this movie is the moon with the mega structure. It's not character. So none of the characters don't seem tacked on because they're not the point of the movie. And I think that I just don't think they overcame that even the slightest bit. And
Yeah.
then it made it worse because there were like 5 different characters that they were trying to tack on to use Dave's words. That's what I would say. But again, if we saw this together, it would be hilarious because all we
Yeah.
want to see is the moon come close to the earth. We don't give a shit about the characters. That's why we would have fun watching.
It does
this
come
together.
close to the earth, folks. If you want to see that shit,
It comes,
you're ready to
It
rock.
comes real close. It comes so close it gets mathematically incorrect.
It does. It does. It does. Honestly, here you go. This is gonna be my case in point. One of the sequences that I thought was the most effective, and it's not the high point in the movie at all. It's the very first time the waves come into Los Angeles after they have their meeting at the hotel,
Mhm.
and real water comes into the hotel set, and Samuel
Perfect
Tarly,
amount of water too. Any more or
Yeah.
less, people would have
Even
died.
they
But
get
that
swept
felt
away,
good.
and it's just like, I mean, I know what you mean story wise. Even that felt like, but at least part of me was like, at least this is tactile. At least there's
Yeah.
something I
Yeah.
can relate to
It's true.
versus
It's
the
true.
gravity wave launch, where you're just like, this means nothing to me. It's hard to relate to this because I can't imagine it. Anyone
Also,
who has
I've
listened
already
to our
seen it in
previous
the
episode
trailer.
or our next
Yeah.
episode in Antlers, we were trying to make the point over and over and over again that there was something, even though we're dealing with like this mythological being, there was something very relatable about the way they create the tone and the setting and the way we perceive that creature. Unfortunately, there were so many elements of the CGI and the effects in this that were either physically breaking their own rules, impossible, or just so outlandish in comparison to something that we can all understand and get a grip on, that it doesn't seem scary anymore. It seems like a video game, which
Yeah.
I don't know. I think maybe a lot of people really
That's
want
fair.
that though, and I'm just like not. I'm behind the times.
Well,
I'm kind of an
box
old man with
office-
that shit. I
box
bet a lot of
office would
people do
say
want
they
that.
don't.
Should we even read the number?
Wait,
Should we
can I
read
play
the
Roland?
number?
Can I? We're winding this down. Can I play my Roland Emmerich game? Wait, shit! I just got rid of it. No, I
Sure,
didn't.
but only
Are
if
you
you're
guys ready?
kind, because I
Okay.
still like Roland Emmerich a lot. I love
Me
how
too.
shameless he is with these things. I love disaster movies, dude.
Okay,
I still have fun.
They're a guilty
Then-
pleasure
then-
of mine as well.
Never mind.
Play
Well,
it,
I'll do
come
this.
on.
I'll do this. What I was gonna do is he has 17 films, and at least 12 of them he was the director, maybe 12 or 13, and all of the consensus for Rotten Tomatoes, so not critics but consensus, they're all the same. Blank is merely dull and scattered, but as an attempt to depict a pivotal moment, whatever. Blank can be entertaining to watch, but relies too much on formula and melodrama. Blank is a ludicrous popcorn thriller filled with clunky dialogue, but spectacular visuals. So it's like I was going to play that game where you had to guess the movie and there was no answer because it's all the same.
Yeah.
Like literally over and over again. Without compelling characters or heart, Blank stomps on everything that made the original a classic. You know, those kinds of things. But actually, I like this one. This is more interesting, and this is not a knock on him necessarily because we hate critics. All right? So here's the question. So there are 17 movies he's a part of. that he's produced, and I believe he directed at least 12, maybe 13 of them. Are you ready? So the question I have, and this is not a knock on Roland Emmerich as much as it is on producers, and then also definitely Roland Emmerich.
Mm-hmm.
So he has 17 movies.
Yeah, let's bring it on. How did John get buzzed for that? He didn't say a word.
I don't know.
I buzzed myself.
But the audience, for audience ratings or whatever, 74%, 81%, 75%, 73%. So he has some positive audience scores. 17 films that he's produced, 12 or 13 that he's directed. How many out of those 17 films are certified fresh on IMDb? John guessed 3 before.
IMDb doesn't certify fresh. It's Rotten Tomatoes.
Sorry, Rotten Tomatoes. How
Okay.
many are certified fresh in Rotten Tomatoes?
I would say 4.
0.
Maybe. Oh.
Now, how many
Rotten
of them?
Tomatoes?
How many? Yeah. Now,
Yeah, dude.
how many of them are fresh but not certified fresh?
4.
Meaning they're like 60%, but not. It's
Dude.
2. Independence Day is at 68%, but it's not certified fresh because they don't have enough reviews. And then The Patriot has 62%.
Everybody
Matthew
review
Broderick
Independence Day.
Godzilla.
Let's get it up there.
I don't hate the Matthew Broderick Godzilla. I guess I saw it when I was a kid,
it's
so
not
it may be
bad.
different, but 15%. Stargate, we both liked, or all 3 of us kind of like, yeah, I like Stargate. 53%.
Dude, I'm
so that's kind of bullshit.
fucking on board with Stargate. And anybody who doesn't like Stargate can fuck themselves.
Yeah.
James Spader and Kurt Russell. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
So he does have a straight up goose egg in here. But to be fair, it's one of his first movies. So anyway, he's not, the critics don't love him, but the box office does. I mean, Independence Day made $500 million worldwide, 300 million domestic. Godzilla made 136 domestic. So he makes his money. So you know what? Fuck critics, except for maybe a dirt for Moonfall.
Also,
Maybe the
I
critics
guess
were right.
fuck us
But-
as well. He's making
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Except
Fuck
on
you
this
guys.
one, when Jackass made
Yeah.
more.
But like, you know,
It is weird. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's a fun game. Just a little thought experiment. Do you think people are tired of disaster movies? Because, like, do you think people would have gone to see Moonfall if we hadn't had all those movies you just listed?
I don't know if they're tired of disaster movies or whether there's just nowhere left to go.
I think
Because like
I
he's
think-
gone to ridiculous proportions. It's like the moon crashing into the earth, and
Do you think people are going to
That's
watch
very-
this when it gets bought
it's
by
very-
streaming?
probably.
Do you think a lot,
It
like a
has a
lot of
good
people will
title.
watch it?
it has a good title.
I mean, yeah, I
Um,
think a lot of people will not spend like money they think they're not spending on it. Yes.
I think
Hmm.
premises matter way more than we let on. Like I know Ozark is good, but even just like a regular old
I
family
mean-
that just like has to start selling drugs, like that's enough for people.
To be
I think the-
fair, also it's very hard to get people to go to the movies still because we're coming
Yeah.
down off Omicron. But
I
mean,
seriously-
I say that, but Spider-Man defied that or possibly caused Omicron wave.
It's
not
IP,
sure.
It's IP. Yeah, the SNL sketch about that. I think
Is it?
if it was just that the moon was coming to Earth, I think people would go see it.
This went full
the
of
fact that it's a
rival
the
in the
fact-
middle of it. Yeah.
The fact that it's a mega structure, I think hurts its
And
cause.
then
I
it went
think
total
I really
fucking
do.
arrival.
And I'm all about the AI, and I'm all about that the planet was alien. All that kind of stuff is great, but the fact that the moon isn't the moon, it's a megastructure, and then it opens with the Apollo 11 mission landing, and you know it's like
Okay,
I
the
just
one
don't
thing
think
I
people
do
are going to buy they don't want to buy that premise, but the actual like moon crashing into the earth or some other disaster that's because even 2012 we know that it's the Mayan calendar, but the movie just became an excuse for tidal waves and people caught on to it. You know what I mean?
The one thing I do love though is that like the conspiracy theorist meeting in the hotel, every theory
Yeah.
they put forward turns out to be fucking correct.
Yeah, that's good. That's true.
That is good. This film lived at 11. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every time you were like, God, that's ridiculous. The next scene they would like say something else and be like, no fucking way. Like,
Yeah.
it just wouldn't stop.
yeah, we're gonna
like,
launch
every
this
time.
rocket with you two guys. Yeah.
So honestly, part of me, I wish I was friends with one of my favorite big disaster movie filmmakers, Roland Emmerich, so I could just ask him straight to his face. We're supposed to laugh, right? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I think we're supposed to be getting a kick out of this. I know we're supposed to laugh at a lot of the intended comedic moments at his really successful films from earlier in his career. But I think he knows what he's doing. I think he knows this is absurd. I don't think he wants people to sincerely take the moon coming to
I feel
Earth
like this was a swing and a miss.
I
feel like he wanted us to come along in the journey, and it was just not there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope I don't sound negative by saying that, but I think I found a lot of joy out of this by kind of getting a big kick out of the absurdity.
Look, who was the
opposite of
long-haired
negative?
guy? In Independence Day, who was like the long-haired guy that was like, "You don't want to die a virgin, right?" And like
Dave, you or me?
No, the son of the Trump guy. Who's the son of the Trump guy? You know what I mean? In Independence Day, who like rides the RV, and then at the end they're like, "You should be proud of your dad." And he's like, "I am." Like that guy. Like he knew that he was in a
Randy
comedy.
Quaid?
Was he in
Randy
Surf
Quaid's
Ninjas?
Will Smith knew that this movie had humor. This movie, they get out of the car to watch a tidal wave, and then they go, "We need to get back in the car," and nobody in that scene went and sat there and said, "Guys, this has to be hilarious, right? Why are you getting out to watch a tidal wave that could clearly kill you and then get back in the car seriously?" You know what I mean? They should at least be like, "What the fuck are we doing?" We need like there was no
How about when
Patrick Wilson trying to not be good at singing was as close to humor as this movie got.
How about
and Samuel was close. Samuel was close.
But again, that's literally what I'm saying, though, isn't it? That it isn't intended comedic moments like for jokes. It's absurdity. How about when they both Patrick Wilson's son
I don't think they
and the woman from I think she was the woman from Devs, by the way, the woman playing the exchange student, who was kind of, I don't know if you guys watched that Alex Garland series. I'm pretty sure that was her. When they jump, when she's like, "The moon will help us lift the tree off of you."
Oh yeah,
and then they run and jump together and get launched into the tunnel. Come on.
Yeah,
I love it. John was like fighting for this movie, and then he's like, "The moon will lift the tree off you, and then we'll float to."
That's what I'm saying, though. But I kept doing that over and over and over again. Like you could ask. I mean, if my girlfriend was here, she could say, "I was just
John,
cracking up."
You know how
just
to
like
film
Fast
humor.
9.
You
just
need
like
to give
Fast
me a
9.
reaction shot of the kid going, "What the fuck did you just say?"
Our reaction to Fast 9 was very different to our reaction from this movie.
I was laughing my ass off at everything that happened in Fast 9. I was the only person.
Fast 9 was like, "Oh fuck me," but like this movie had almost grounded performances, and they took it to just above where it should be, and it became ridiculous.
Sorry, John.
Yeah, sure. No, hey, I mean, I'm trying to defend it. I know what you're saying. I know what you mean. I guess I just I'm still going to go back to what I said earlier on. My co-host Dave went into this movie with very high expectations.
So that was apparently my fault.
I'm trying. Help me qualify this, you guys, because I keep talking. I've said this to you before. I clearly got joy out of seeing this movie, but I wasn't expecting greatness. Do you know what I mean?
You gassed him straight away, honestly.
Yeah, give him the gush like, because he said, "I got joy out of this movie." No, you're right.
So what does that mean? What does that mean? Like I have been able to find, because I'm a pretentious fucking cinephile too, but I can also find a lot of joy out of these movies. I don't think they're bad movies. I enjoy them.
Like, I mean, we all do, but I really fucking felt like he phoned this in.
That's probably crazy too, because he probably worked on this for like 3 years. I mean, these special effects in this. Dave, how many special effects do you think are in this movie? How many companies do you think worked on this film in post?
It was about 11.
But here's the
thing: with 10 of them are bankrupt now.
With movies this big,
one of them are doing just great because that shot was shit, quite frankly, and they got like a couple of mil to do that.
They have story editors, and then they have different VX departments. And at some point,
get away with that.
At some, no, you didn't get away with
I wasn't going to say.
At some point,
live in your shame, Dave.
Somebody pushed back on Roland Emmerich and said, "Can we run the numbers again?" And he said, "This is it." You know what I mean?
What if this was his passion project? He was like, "I'm funding the whole thing myself. I believe in the Moonfall."
I mean, he obviously did. They set this up for like either a sequel or an event series.
They really did. They set it up. I think he's trying to pull a Stargate
for a sequel. I can't believe they pulled. Yeah,
I think they're setting up a Stargate series.
I don't think he's setting up for a sequel. I think he's setting up for a TV series.
I do too. I think he's leaning into it. I think he's going to be very successful. This exact movie. All right, let's talk about this really quickly, and then I know you guys probably want to wrap it up. Yeah. If this movie was a television show, people would have watched it.
Well,
because
they
it's
would have
a
given us
movie.
more. They wouldn't have been able to spend more time with the characters, and then he could have
Maybe,
offsited some of the
but I
writing
think even
to
if
writers
this
to flesh
movie,
these characters
if
out.
this movie had been just like what they did with Battlestar, Dave, back me up. If this movie had been episode 1 of a television show, I bet people would have kept watching the TV show. But there's something about the fact that it was a movie that we had to go see.
Yeah, I think it's
Honestly, I think there
Yeah.
might be truth to that. So I bet if he does spin it off, I bet people are going to watch it. I might watch it. I've got some weed.
I mean,
I might have to watch that show, dude. I might do it.
All right, guys. I think that's as good as we're going to get as an ending of the show. Let's go ahead and do a quick round of what you've been watching. And just remember, folks, find us on the link tree down south in your episode notes. Find our sponsors. Find us on the socials. We do respond. Dave has been responding to people before John and I.
oh my God, it's been
so
so much fun. We've had some people come at us lately. It's awesome.
people questioning things about the episode, and Dave responds with multiple messages, and then John and I go, "Did she? Is that really what we said?" And we already had responded as a podcast. But please reach out to us. We love it that people are listening and care enough to engage. How many times have I been to a restaurant I liked and I didn't say shit?
Awesome.
Like, I'm so happy that people are reaching out to us. So thank you guys so much.
And let's
Good
be
or the
real.
bad, we love the hate. Bring it on. If you
You
hate
can't
anything,
talk about
if-
you can't talk about Clockwork Orange without getting people to want to respond and to take part in that
Good.
conversation.
That was a good
is
one.
fucking
To be honest,
provocative,
like
controversial
that was
movie.
Yeah.
that was yeah, that was a good
That was a really
response.
good response. Well, and I had the book of Clockwork Orange clenched in my hand because I was like, I know what that movie does to people.
Love
Yeah, you
that.
taught a
Everybody
fucking
bring it
class
on.
in that one, dude.
Everybody
Good
talk to
job.
us. Talk to us.
So let's get into a round of what you've been watching. Dave, let's keep us relevant. You've been watching anything this week?
I did my annual rewatch of Scott Pilgrim.
Aw.
Yeah.
How'd it go this time?
Still fucking awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
The movie
I
is
love it.
awesome.
Yeah.
We do
You
love
also had
Edgar
a
Wright.
crazy work schedule this week, so kudos.
Yes.
John.
I am almost through. Did I mention a few weeks ago before my last episode that I started watching Euphoria finally?
I
Finally.
haven't done this
damn it,
yet.
yeah, same.
I hadn't
Yeah,
done
such a
it.
dick.
The film we just worked on was heavily inspired by like that style and that tone. The person who was directing it was
Oh,
really
Nice.
really influenced by it. So I finally gave it a shot and I'm almost done with the first season. I get it. It's good. It's really, 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 really interesting the way the language, the visual language and the drama. It's good. I get it. I understand why people were freaking out. I don't think I've
Apparently
seen a show
season
that
2
looks
they
like
freak
that
out more.
before.
So
It's on now, right? Didn't it
Yeah.
just premiere last
yes,
week or
it
2
did.
weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah. So I watched that. I watched I don't usually watch sitcoms, but started fresh off the boat for just the
Oh, fuck
sitting
me.
down
yeah.
and eating together,
nice.
girlfriend and I, and yeah, there's some funny stuff so far. It's
Dude,
been,
I
it's been
checked
enjoyable.
out. One thing I should add, I checked out 2 episodes of How I Met Your Father.
And
Was it any good? Or?
It was a little cliche, but then it got there in the end. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm
Really?
aboard. I'm aboard. Yeah.
all right,
It's kind of funny.
All right.
Yeah.
love it.
It's not How I Met Your Mother,
Jeff, what'd you?
because that's my Bible, but
It's taking. There's so many
Oh yeah, I
shows out
forgot
now.
you love that show.
Dude,
Yeah.
you love How I Met Your Mother. I there's so much TV out that I'm like kind of stuck. I'm like, I don't know what to start. I watched Boba Fett, obviously, as talked about before.
yeah,
in
yeah,
this
that's
podcast.
10
I
minutes,
watched a couple episodes.
15 minutes this fucking
Um,
episode. Yeah.
Jeff,
sorry
what'd you
about that.
think?
I'm so sorry about
What'd you
that.
think about it?
What do you
So I
think of
watched some of
Boba
that.
Fett? Yeah. No, fuck you. We're busting you.
There's so many other shows to watch. There's so many other shows to watch. I didn't know what to do. But I loved the Beastie Boys growing up, and they're kind of an enigma to me, just like Boba Fett. Shout out. And so I was like, are they a joke or not? I didn't know if they were like kidding or if they were serious, you know.
Jesus.
And I watched that Spike Jones did a documentary, which was basically just a stage show with video edits, called The Story of the Beastie Boys. I think it's on Apple TV Plus.
That's really
I watched
awesome
it. It was
because
really
one of
cool.
Spike Jones, his first big successful ventures was their music videos. He made a few music videos for them.
So they talked
Do you
about
remember the one where they play the
sabotage, the
yeah,
cops.
it's that where they do like the cops? Yeah. That's really good.
So did he do Spike? Did he do Jackass? The new Jackass? I can't even. I meant to look it
Spike
up
Jones?
before. Well, because he's directed some of them, right? He like produced and directed like a lot of their videos because he used to be a skateboarding like editor.
That's
That's
so
like how
cool. I did
how
not
he
know
started.
that,
He
yeah.
started like photographing for skateboards, and then they asked him to film commercials, and that's how he got into videos, to music
That's
videos.
really fun. Oh, that's
Yeah.
really fun. How about the Jeff? Wrap us up here. We're almost done, I think. don't the Academy nominations come out this morning or tomorrow morning at like 5 a.m?
Oh
Tuesday?
shit!
It's tomorrow. Yeah, right. Because the
It's
BAFTAs did not
Leslie
go well for Olivia
Jordan
Colman.
Yeah.
and
Are we gonna?
Miss Ross. What's her name? Rainbow from Blackish. Diana Ross's daughter. Oh, I feel bad.
Tracy Ellis Ross.
Yeah, it's her and Leslie Jordan are announcing it together, I believe.
That's
Nice.
cool. Is that
5 in
tomorrow?
the morning.
Shit.
I think it's
Shit.
yeah, I think it's tomorrow
Oh,
morning.
are we gonna record a reaction video tomorrow?
I could.
Just,
You
you
gonna
know,
fuck
sleeping.
people up again, Jeff? Like,
Yeah, we'll just ask everybody. Let's just we'll just ask people.
Is this category fraud?
Can't wait to find out what the category fraud.
I think we have some work to do, you guys. Listeners, come at us. Should we keep watching new movies or should we actually see the Academy movies? Because I don't feel like we've seen enough of them, you guys. I feel like we
Honestly,
didn't do our homework.
We snuck in a couple. We've been good about
have
that.
not done enough, though,
We
right?
need to see the foreign films for sure. This
Well,
year, the BAFTAs,
for
half the
sure.
BAFTAs are foreign films.
Yeah,
By foreign films,
they
I mean
haven't.
not in the English
They haven't
language.
announced them yet, so like we're in the clear till they announce them.
I kind of hope it's Drive My Car, even though it's a 3-hour movie that we'll have to watch. And then the craziest person in the world. What is that movie called?
Yeah, the worst person in the world.
We're a movie podcast.
Worst
The worst person in the world. I'm very
world.
excited to see. It's all over our Instagram.
I can understand it's translated from French.
So it's a French.
Spike Jonze did not direct Jackass Forever, although he has directed some Jackass movies.
I'm gonna buzz me for that one.
Yeah, go ahead. He produced it. I think that's it. We gotta wrap this shit up, people. It's so good to see you all. Thanks again for tuning in. Like us, love us, hate us in the comments. Can't wait for Dave to respond to you.
Hate us,
And,
like go for it.
And let's
I'm
do it.
telling you, smoke a big one and go see Moonfall. I think you're gonna have fun.
You
For your
probably
friends.
will, to be honest. You know what? I mean, they did a trailer with Bad Moon Rising. I'm on board.
I love how we're recommending Moonfall after we just talked
We
about
bagged the
everything
shit
that
out of
happens.
it.
In.
Yes.
All the spoilers. Like, there's spoilers. If you haven't seen this yet, wait for another half an hour for us to tell you to go watch the movie.
Yeah, we're
I
gonna
liked
ruin
it.
it, but go see it.
I want to rewatch it again with all of us together again, like old times.
Oh, let's
Glorious day.
just go to LA. Like, let's fly
Yeah,
over there.
come on over.
I have to give these beer boots to you guys, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I almost did, but the Lunar New Year shut my
it'll fit me.
laundromat
Carry
down,
on. Let's
which
do
is
that.
great. I'm glad they got to. I'm glad they got to
We've
celebrate the
recorded
holiday,
2
but it
episodes.
really
I've
fucked up my
drunk a
day. I was
pint-
gonna give Dave.
I've drunk like 2 pints of beer. I'm drunk as shit right now.
Yeah, I don't think the
Oh
people
my
listening are
God.
going to be too surprised about that, Dave. Wait, and David, you're going to edit the video. You're going to edit the audio drunk. So if anything
Yes.
goes wrong, people, now you know why.
I'm
Thanks
having
for
another
joining
beer
us.
while I edit it. So yeah.
Thanks for joining us for another. You also were up at 4 a.m. today, so I don't know how you do this. Welcome. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Love of Cinema podcast, and we hope to see you next week. Take it easy, film fans.
Peace.